Hello, children. Welcome you all to class ninth English class. Today, I'll continue the lesson on saying please, written by A.G. Gardner. In the previous class, I had told you a story about a lift man who got angry against a person who entered into the lift and said top instead of saying top please. The lift man felt insulted and pushed the man out of the lift, and there was a quarrel. For this act, the lift man was being punished for assaulting a person. The person who had not used the word please will not be punished, even though he had not used the social practice of saying please, because discourtesy is not a legal offense. Today, I'll continue the lesson from point 2. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. I may be haughty or boorish, and there is no penalty to pay except the penalty of being written down an ill mannered fellow. The law does not compel me to say please or to attune my voice to other people's sensibilities any more than it says that I shall not wax my moustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets down my back. It does not recognize a laxation of our feelings as a case of compensation. There is no allowance for moral and intellectual damages in these matters. Difficult words which we come across here are haughty, which means arrogant. Second, boorish, which means rough. Third, attune, which means adjust. Author says that if a person is arrogant or rough, nobody can punish, but he may be labeled as an ill mannered person. The law cannot compel us to say please, sorry, or thank you, or adjust his voice according to the other people's sensibilities. This doesn't mean that the damages are negligible. It is probable that the liftman was much more acutely hurt by what he regarded as a slur upon his social standing than he would have been if he had a kick on his shins, for which he could have got legal redress. The pain of a kick on the shins soon passes away, but the pain of a wound to our self respect or our vanity may poison a whole day. I can imagine that liftman denied the relief of throwing the author of his wound out of the lift, brooding over the insult by the hour, and visiting it on his wife in the evening as the only way of restoring his equilibrium. For there are few things more catching than bad temper and bad manners. The author says the pain of a physical injury or a wound recovers, but the pain on your self respect spoil a day and creates a chain of bad behavior. Because when a person feels insulted, irritated, or frustrated, he is likely to show or throw his anger, frustration on someone else. When Sir Anthony Absolute bullied Captain Absolute, the latter went out and bullied his man, Fag, whereupon Fag went out downstairs and kicked the page boy. Probably the man who said top to the liftman was really only getting back on his employer who had not said good morning to him, because he himself had been henpacked at breakfast by his wife, to whom the cook had been insolent because the housemaid had answered her back. We infect the world with our ill humors. Bad manners probably do more to poison the stream of the general life than all the crimes in the calendar. For one wife who gets a back eye from an otherwise good natured husband, there are 100 who live a life of martyrdom under the shadow of morose temper. But all the same, the law cannot become the guardian of our private manners. No decalogue could cover the vast area of offences, and no court could administer a law which governed our social civilities, our speech, the tilt of our eyebrows, and all our modes and manners. We can take an example of Sir Anthony Absolute, who scolds his son Captain Absolute. Captain Absolute, who was unable to give back answer to his father, passed his frustration on to his servant. His servant, again unable to tell his master, passed his anger on a small boy. Here we can see how a chain of bad behavior is created, spreading negativity all around. Coming back to the example of the liftman, person who has not told top please may have got some bad experience at home at breakfast by his wife, to whom the housemaid had answered her back and spoilt her mood. Hence, we infect the world with our ill humors. So, the author says that bad manners have been the reason of so many crimes in the society. It would not be wrong. Coming to the fourth point. But though we are bound endorse the verdict against the liftman, most people will have a certain sympathy with him. While it is true that there is no law that compels us to say, please, there is a social practice much older and much more sacred than any law which enjoins us to be civil. And the first requirement of civility is that we should acknowledge a service. Please and thank you are the small change with which we pay our ways as social beings. They are the little courtesies by which we keep the machine of life oiled sweetly. They put our intercourse upon the basis of a friendly cooperation and easy give and take, instead of on the basis of superiors dictating to inferiors. It's a very vulgar mind that would wish to command where he can have the service of asking, and have it with willingness and good feeling instead of resentment. Moving on to the explanation. We may have sympathy towards the liftman for the punishment he has received. At the same time, it is true that there is no law that compels anyone to say, please, sorry, thanks, etc. But there is a social practice much older than any law which enjoins us to be civil. First and the foremost requirement of civility is that we should acknowledge, remember, we should acknowledge a service done. For example, while we are requesting from somebody, we say, please. And when we receive something from others, we say thanks. And if we have made any mistake, we have to say sorry. We may feel it's simple, but these words create a big change in our social life. For example, to run a machine smoothly, we have to do regular servicing, greasing, has to be done in the same way. The little courteousness will help to keep the machine of life oiled. So, it is better that we have a regular practice of using these social practices and maintain good relationship among ourselves. Assignment of the day. First one, what can the law not compel us to do? Second, what is the first and the most important requirement of civility? Thank you, children.